What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm covering 8 very specific fragrances that some I've recently got, some I've had for a little while that I just feel don't get enough love. And I want to shed a little bit of light on them because they're really good scent profiles. Some are quite incredible bargains for what you're going to get as far as profile, maybe performance, at least on me. And some of these are just kind of under the radar niche that you might want to take a look at because you might be missing out on. So let's talk about these 8. Stay tuned. Starting with one of the more versatile designer fragrances I've picked up in a long time that I don't think gets enough attention and love. It's a beautiful everyday wear. It is Gucci Guilty Parfum pour Homme. I wore this recently, and it's an absolute delight if you like the DNA. It very much smells like the original, but richer, a more full-bodied profile, if you will. Still dominated by that orange blossom note, some dry woods, a little bit of aromatics and citrus, but not that scratchy type of orange blossom. Like, think of Gucci Guilty Intense if you've ever smelled it. That's a little bit more rough around the edges, which, being called intense, I guess you should expect from it anyways. But this isn't super loud, lasts a really long time, and is very consistent with the type of sillage that I get, to where pretty much what I get early on, it doesn't lose a whole lot from that through the entirety and the life of the fragrance. This is one that you can dress up, dress down, and pretty much rock for everything. It's not too heavy for the heat, but not too light for the cold. Again, this Gucci Guilty Parfum pour Homme. Now, I picked up this 75 ml tester for $16 from Fragrance Buy recently. I'll have links to everything down below for it if you're looking to check any of these out. But Only the Brave Street from Diesel very much surprised me. It's in that typical kind of cheesy fist with the ring style bottle, but for what it is, I actually like the color scheme and that concrete look to it. Street, as the flanker is called. But this is very much a green, spicy Eros type of smell. For any of you that like Versace Eros, maybe want to tone back some of the playfulness, but again, still a youthful, casual type of fragrance. Has that apple vanilla sweetness. That's what I kind of tie to smelling like Versace Eros. It reminds me of it, but I believe it's basil is the green spice that really stands out here. It's even got a little bit of a minty freshness without mint or geranium or anything being listed that I can remember. So far, I've clocked it around 6 hours in longevity on my skin. For 16 bucks, we're starting off pretty good because I just recently picked this up here at the beginning of the year in 2024. So this has a shot at being one of the best cheap fragrance pickups I've had on the year, because we're starting off strong, because this is the cheapest fragrance I've picked up so far this year, and I actually quite like it. Don't just believe me. Don't just believe ratings you'll see online, because it's actually like an average rating. On Parfumo, it was like a 5 out of 10, 5.4, 5.2, something like that. I gave it a 7. I quite like it. Next time you're rolling the dice on making a fragrance order, maybe give this one a shot if it interests you. 16 bucks was all I paid for it. It's actually quite nice. Diesel, Only the Brave Street. Speaking of green, this is very fresh green. A little bit of an herbal tea, fresh petitgrain, some earthy oak moss, citruses. It's a little watery fresh. It is Bulgari Pour Homme Extreme. So I was introduced to the original by a long-time subscriber. He had been on me for a long time about trying it. Ended up falling in love with the scent profile and decided, well, let me get the Extreme. And I've gravitated to the Extreme more than the original because it's an overall denser green type of fragrance. And I don't mean dense in the traditional sense of how I normally mean it. I mean, when you compare it to the original, it's a denser version, because that's very watery green and fresh. But here, those notes are intensified greatly, as you would expect with an extreme flanker. Performance is in that average range of 6 to 7 hours in longevity, at least on my skin. Pretty loud at first, I would say, for a solid hour to hour and a half. This is a great everyday option, especially as we roll into spring weather here sooner than later, at least where I'm at here in the Florida Panhandle. On into summer, this is going to be a great fragrance. I've worn it out the shower. I've worn it casually. This would be a great work fragrance for somebody that likes the style. Just really good fragrance that I don't think gets any attention, really. And it deserves some more. That's Bulgari Pour Homme Extreme. Another one that kind of flies under the radar, because it's not as cheap, at least yet, as some of the other fragrances from the brand. And we're talking about Mercedes-Benz. Now, if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know Mercedes-Benz is my favorite car company that puts out fragrances. That's my favorite car company in general. I actually sold cars for the brand for several years, but their fragrances are really good. This is Mercedes-Benz Ultimate, and it very much reminds me in the vein of fragrances like Greenlee meets a little bit of Sauvage and so on, because you have some apple, cypress, cedar leaf. It's very woodsy green, a little fruity, but not too sweet. Very, very much a great versatile everyday wear that, again, we're talking a lot of green elemental fragrances to start this video, but like I said, I'm starting to gear myself into that style of fragrance, that weather, because I like green fragrances as we move into spring, and that's kind of what I've been gravitating to lately, so I wanted to talk about them. And these are some of my favorites. This is actually pretty recent as far as pickups for me. I got this in the last 2 or 3 months. I forgot exactly how long. And it's very much impressed me. I'm not ready to say it's my favorite Mercedes-Benz fragrance yet, but it's at least my second favorite. I don't know if I want to, pull away from fragrances like Mercedes-Benz Cologne or the original Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz Man Private is really, really good. Gray, Man Blue. I have a bunch of really good ones. Club Black, which people would freak out. I can't believe you didn't say Club Black. Club Black's that jam. But this is a great everyday wear with some really good performance. This one falls into that latter 7 to 8 hour range in longevity for me. It's actually pretty loud for about 2 hours. 4-ounce bottle. It's still around $60, so not super affordable, but you could do a lot worse on $60 with a fragrance if this is your style. You might want to take a look at it. It's not really getting any love outside of me as far as I know. Again, that's Mercedes-Benz. Come on. We are going to focus whether we like it or not. Mercedes-Benz Ultimate. This is one of the citrus-heavy fragrances I'm most excited about as we start to transition into warmer weather here in the next few weeks. This is from Mancera, and it's called Wild Fruits. Wild Fruits is very under the radar from the brand because they just put out so many fragrances between Mancera and Montal. This reminds me of what a fresher take, more citrus dominant, less woody, leathery take of Cedrat Boisé could be, because you get black currant, citrus fruits. I believe there's a little bit of peach. It's clean and musky. It's watery. It's not a sweet, fruity tone. It's got some zest to it, and it's got some pretty good power. This is another one falls in that 6 to 8 hour range. This is some good stuff. I quite enjoy it. I like it even more than I initially thought I would when I picked it up. Very much gravitate to this fragrance. Like I said, it's almost like the even more spring-summer appropriate version of Cedrat Boisé in many ways, because I'm a big Cedrat Boisé guy when it comes to Mancera. But this is some good stuff, and this is as under the radar as it gets. This definitely needs some more attention. More people need to give this one a shot. If you want a citrus and fruity dominant fragrance that's not overly sweet or anything like that, but has all that freshness while still maintaining some depth of scent profile, like it's a deep enough scent, as well as having performance to boot. So this is a really good one that definitely deserves some love and some attention, because it's actually quite good. It's Mancera Wild Fruits. This next one I raved about quite a bit last year, and even a little bit in the previous year. It's quite unique. Now, you'll see people relate it to Elysium online, I guess because of the grapefruit in the woods, but this ivy leaf note, I think, is what really separates it. It is from Paradis to Sens. This is called Eden. And we're getting into the time of year when I'm going to want to put this back in rotation, because we're going to be moving away from colder weather. And this is just great. The quality is fantastic, and it gets dominated by this green, fresh, leafy tone. Nice and woodsy without being creamy or sharp. The citrus is smooth and watery up top. Even has a little bit of a soft floral feel to it. Performance is great. Quality is top tier. Great stuff. Love the house. I still only have 2 fragrances from them, this and Bliss. One fresh, one woodsy, earthy leather, very much in the vein of a Tuscan leather. But this is the one. This is absolutely the one. Some of you watching this video have heard me speak on this one before. The love has not wavered. This is some good stuff that deserves some more attention. I would strongly encourage you to get a sample and try this fragrance. If you want something that's sure, with the citrus, can remind you of Elysium without that metallic synthetic edge, but really it has its own identity because of the dominance of this ivy leaf note. This is beautiful. It's Paradis to Sens, Eden. For a simplistic note breakdown, the quality, the blend, the smoothness of this fragrance is absolutely fantastic. This is one of the better releases as far as independent houses luxury independent houses from last year. This is Maison Daba. This is called Silent Night. This is the second offering from the brand. Very juicy, not overly sweet plum. Has a little bit of tartness to it with some spice, woods, and florals. Very smooth, rich fragrance. God, it's good. Perfectly unisex. You saw that beautiful atomizer too. It's good stuff. I don't mind smelling it again. It's not too spicy. It's not too fruity. It's not too woodsy. It's not too floral. It's well balanced, smooth, and harmonious across the board. Lightly nuances as it slowly develops throughout its lifespan, because this one lasts a really long time on skin. This is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Overshadows their original release called Sovereign greatly. And that was a great starting point for the brand, a great first fragrance. They really brought it with some freshness and some wearable oud. But this, it's simplistic in its design when you see the note breakdown, but when you smell it, it's like, oh, it's a mouth-watering type of plum fragrance, if anybody's ever tried that. And then, like I said, it's counterbalanced perfectly with the other nuances and fragrance oils to never let it just be overly sweet and fruity, because that's a turnoff for some people. I understand that. So very well balanced, beautiful quality, and lasts a really long time. It's worth checking out. It's Maison Daba Silent Night. In a space where a brand can put out so many flankers in a line that some really good ones get lost in the shuffle, and that's kind of the case here, because when I first got this, I was really into it and was wearing it quite a bit. And as we move into the newer seasons, it'll be back in the rotation. This is Bulgari Man Glacial Essence, the second Bulgari fragrance here on the list. I actually like this quite a bit more than Rain Essence, the newest flanker in this line. This is good stuff. A nice watery, aquatic, fresh, woodsy, clean and musky type of fragrance that's not reinventing the wheel on the style, but has its own kind of charm, if you will, with the way the scent profile comes across. They have this clear wood note that offers a little bit of this freshwater woody feel without having like a saltwater driftwood tone to it, or a dry rotted wood like certain ouds and driftwood combinations can be, for example, like Tom Ford's Oud Mineral, for example. Now that's a higher quality fragrance than this, but this is a beautiful everyday wear for those that like fresh. You don't want overly musky, but you like a nice little clean musky tone to it. Sharp dressed man type of feel, just a clean approach, everyday wear fragrance with some really good performance. I get in the realm of 8 hours of longevity from this for being as fresh as it is. That's pretty impressive for a mid-level designer line like the Bulgari Man line. That color scheme, that gradients from clear to sky blue is very much what it is. It's a clean white musk, fresh water, slightly woodsy fragrance that, again, not reinventing the wheel here. It's not overly unique, like, oh my God, I've never smelled anything like it, but it also has its place where it doesn't exactly smell like other things, and I can appreciate that. This is one worth checking out. In the sea of Bulgari Man flankers, this is kind of my favorite. It's Bulgari Man Glacial Essence. Well, that's the 8 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. What's that one fragrance you think deserves some more attention, some more love, that you just really enjoy, but you don't really see anybody talk about all that much? Definitely comment down below. Is one of those fragrances for you? Let me know. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 8 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.